I've seen several questions come in recently about how to add your content to your groups in your Heartbeat community. The short answer is you can't, but stick with me and I'm going to explain and tell you what to do instead. Okay, so if you don't know me, I'm Misty Dorman from mistydorman.com and lifeninjatraining.com. I help overwhelmed entrepreneurs implement systems, strategies, tools, and tech, that is a mouthful, to save time and mental calories growing their biz. If you want more of these types of videos, please leave your vote by giving it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe. It's truly the best compliment you can give me, and it does help boost the YouTube algorithms so that I can reach more people with these great tips. Okay, so if you are on this video, I'm assuming you have a Heartbeat community platform that you are an admin of. If not, you're probably in the wrong place, or maybe you're just looking to see how things work and you're considering Heartbeat. I will put some helpful links below for you either way. But let's get going on this. Okay, so if you are asking this question, how do I get my stuff into my groups, right? I'm guessing you're coming from Facebook. So you're maybe migrating a community from Facebook, or you've got some experience with Facebook groups. And so the mentality over on Facebook is that you create a Facebook group and that is your community and that is where you load all of your content, right? That is not how it works in Heartbeat. So it's just a matter of shifting your understanding of what how things work, okay? And the terminology that's used in Heartbeat. So in Heartbeat, groups are actually a way to control access to different content. So let me just go into my group area so that I can show you what I'm talking about a little bit. Okay, so these are my current groups, and these are just access levels. Think of it as access permissions. It's a little different from user permissions. So user permissions is going to say like you have an admin level of permissions, you have a moderator level of permissions, you have a user level of permissions for everyone else, and then you can create sort of custom permissions. But this is a little different, okay? This is more about who's going to have access to what content, not necessarily permissions of like who has the ability to do different things, such as, you know, like, I don't know, deleting posts or adding new members and that kind of thing. I don't know. Anyway, they're going to keep changing what we're able to do in here as far as permissions go. But this is probably going to stay the same because groups are like the backbone of how your community is created. So this is an important one to get. The way that I have mine set up, I do have a paid subscription group that is my Life Ninja Academy members. So that's this first one that you're seeing. I had a group of community testers that had access to different things in here before I actually let anybody else into my community. They were helping me test a few things with the platform, and I will probably also use that as I want to test new features that are released. Have my ninjapreneurs. So my group is Life Ninjas. And so this is everybody. I've got everybody should be in this group. They do currently have the ability to remove themselves from a group, but if they did that, they would lose access to like probably 100%, or if they're in Life Ninja Academy, like 90%, or I don't know, whatever percent, a large percentage of what they should be able to see in here. So if they want to see stuff, right, they want access to pretty much everything, they need to be in the Ninjapreneurs group. That's my free access level. The interest groups, this is something I've added. I'll keep adding more groups as we have a need for it. This is a pretty fresh community here that I've just started. So I've got different types of entrepreneurs kind of broken out into different interest groups. And then I have my team. So this is where I will add any VAs that need access to help me manage things in the group, or any teammates. Okay. So that is my groups. Your groups may look completely different depending on the setup of your community, but I'm just using this kind of as a launching point to show you how I use groups to manage different access. Okay. So let me go over to threads. Okay, so the threads or channels, this will be one form of content that different groups can access. Hopefully that makes sense. So for example, I have created this, what do they call it? Category. Okay, I'm still getting used to all this terminology as well. I've created a category called All Access. This is going to be for channels or threads that everybody should have access to who is part of my community. And so then as I created new threads inside of this area, I have given that permission. So let me go into this start here and click edit to show you. Okay. So this one is set as a default channel. That means that everybody is going to see this by default. It's actually not limited to groups. So when I told you that people who remove themselves from the entrepreneur group would lose access, I actually, it turns out I don't have it set that way on my threads. So this one, everybody will be able to see, all community members. It doesn't matter what group you're in, what level of access you have. You got it. You got access to this. Okay. So that is how I have my threads set up. And you just go in right here to the little 3 dots and hit edit if you've already created your threads. Or when you create a new thread, you will set it how you want it. Okay. Now, to give another example, I have my Life Ninja Academy. This is my paid membership. So if we go to the little 3 dots on one of the threads inside of there, you will see it's a little different. This is not a default channel. I do not want everyone to have access to this, only my paid members. Okay. And so I did set this as a private channel, and I have given access to people in this group right here, Life Ninja Academy members. And I currently also have administrators and moderators in there, depending on how you have yours, your business, your community set up. You may not want your moderators to see it. I don't know. But this is just an example, right? And this particular one set as read only. Doesn't matter. It's the permissions that you're looking at. Okay. So if you want to limit the permissions of your thread, you're going to uncheck set as default channel. And you will need to decide if you want this discoverable, meaning that people can join it during via an invite. So I just have mine not discoverable from all channels, and can, sorry, I said that wrong. It can only be joined via invite, okay? Because this is my paid group. Now, the way my setup is, my members are currently paying through an external payment processor because I already had this paid community prior to creating my Heartbeat community. So I already had that whole setup done, and I just have chosen not to change it and have people start paying through Heartbeat. So my stuff may look a little different from yours, but this is where you set that permission. You just say it's a private channel. Other people can't discover it. It can only be discovered, joined via invite. They have to be in the group is what that means, or have that level of access. And then this little drop down right here is where you will choose what individual people, or what group level, or what user permissions level. Okay. So for example, if you want to create a thread that is just for you and your admins, you don't have to have them in a group. You could, like I've created my Life Ninja team group. You can put people in that. So let's say, for example, my Life Ninja team is all admins and all moderators. It would be easy for me to just select Life Ninja team right here, and I would just pull everybody in. Okay. But if I wanted to have a separate channel, maybe one just for admins, one just for moderators, then I would, choose administrator or moderator as who can see this. I hope that makes sense. I know I'm rambling a little bit. Also trying to hurry. My kiddos are wanting some dinner. Okay, so another place where this takes effect is docs. So in the docs area, as I'm recording this, you cannot set permissions on an individual document. You need to set the permissions at the section level. So that's these section headers. And you will just hit edit if you've already created that. And this is where you are going to set your access. So for mine, again, I just have like all users can see these onboarding docs, these community how-tos. If you are interested in the fast track way to create all of these documents, I will have a link down below to my templates pack where you could just basically import all of these right into your community and get it all set up very quick. But this section, I am giving it just everybody. Everybody has access to that. Everybody. Okay. And then same thing with the community how-tos. But then I have my Life Ninja Academy members. And for that one, only administrators, moderators, and Life Ninja Academy members can view. And in this case, admins should be able to edit. That's actually everywhere. You want to make sure that you are able to edit your own documents. So go ahead and set that however makes sense for your community. But that is where you change the permission. So this is all controlling what your users see inside of your community. Okay. Another place to set that would be courses. Now, I'm not using the courses area so much just yet. I may be doing some master classes or like 5-day challenges in here. So you see I've got some test ones in here. Okay, and this is controlled by invitation link. Okay, so you will use an invitation link to invite people into your course, and you will set permissions for who can access that. So let me see if I can find where that is again. Edit. Okay, so this will show who is able to enroll in this course for free, for example. So you will just put your groups in here. Now, they have just today started launching out the payments processor so that people can pay for things, and like, so things are kind of changing. Okay, but the settings are in here. You have to go find them, and it may move, is all I'm saying, or it may work a little bit differently than when I'm recording this. But this would be where you would set permissions for that, for people to access, meaning that they're not paying through Heartbeat. They are like, so they can access this for free. Essentially, they're able to have access. So for example, this test masterclass course group, they have access as soon as I added them to that group, or they used my invite link to join that group. They were in here. Okay, they had immediate access to see this when they open up my community in Heartbeat. They'll have it in their courses area. I hope that makes sense. I also saw there was a create cohort option. Again, I have not played with this that much yet, but this is for if you are doing multiple launches, for example. Maybe you have like a new cohort every year or every 3 months or whatever. You can create a new cohort, which will create that course group, and it will create associated resources, like a discussion area, action stuff. It'll create the additional resources that are part of that course for them specifically. So for example, maybe your 2023 cohort is not in the same discussion area as your 2022 cohort, if that makes sense. So that is another place to set your groups. Hopefully I'm explaining all of this okay. Again, the courses I have not played with that much, admittedly. And so you will just want to go and check your permissions. And I always recommend creating a test account so that you can go in as a test user and see what do you have access to, what can you see, make sure that your permissions are set correctly. Okay, and then also events will be another place, and matchups too, but let's talk about events. So let's go to past event. Okay, so you can see this past event. I think this was actually before I launched out my community, but that's okay. You can see who the guest list was. So when you're creating an event, you're going to be able to set who has permission to see the event. And in this case, only Life Ninja Academy members were invited to this event. So that will be another area that controls the content that your users see, which I know you're used to calling it groups, but it's not groups anymore. Groups are the access permissions for the content, okay? And then matchups, when you are configuring matching, let's see if I can find it. Yep, in here under matchmaking settings, step 2, this is where you will decide your pools of users. So you may have, like, for example, I'm probably only going to have matchups enabled for my paid subscription group as of right now. I might test it out with my free group and see if I want to do that there. But I'm actually right now kind of positioning it as a benefit to my paying subscribers. So for now, that's my game plan. And so I have created this Life Ninja Academy members pool of people. So people who are in Life Ninja Academy members will be paired with other Life Ninja Academy members. And currently, they're the only ones who can join, other than my test group, which actually I'll probably just delete that out. Okay, so that is how I have that set up. You could pair, I don't, maybe you have a group where you have people who are like mentors within your group. Maybe you've tagged them as being mentors within your group. You could pair them up with people who are, your regular members as well. So you could have them all in the same pool, or you could have like different interest groups being paired together. So like I could have network marketers all in a matchup together and bloggers all in a matchup together. Like the possibilities are endless, right? But groups is how you control who has access to these different things. So I think that's it. Yeah, I think I covered all of it. Do let me know if you have questions or I missed something. And yeah, thank you for watching. Please make sure to check the video description down below for helpful links and updates. And I will see you next time. Bye, Ninja.